Good evening, I'm John Carter and welcome to Poland Daily. Concrete promises and concrete actions build a concrete state was how the Prime Minister of Poland, Mateusz Morawiecki, presented the five-point plan today put forward by the leader of the Law and Justice Party, Jarosław Kaczyński. The Law and Justice Party wants to implement the new 5 campaign promises within the first 100 days after the Polish parliamentary elections, scheduled for October the 13th.
We will adopt the bills, and where bills cannot solve the problems, we will introduce proper action programs, government programs in the first 100 days after the elections. The first promise concerns reduced social insurance, which is a very huge tax relief for small entrepreneurs. The 13th pension program will be continued in 2020-2021. The 14th pension program will be implemented in 2021. The next thing is the control package program for people above the age of 40. The goal of this program is to diagnose serious diseases earlier. The next promise is the building of around 100 bypass roads around small cities. We will present the details of this program in the first 100 days. The equal additional payments for the Polish farmers is the final promise. Concrete promises and concrete actions build a concrete state. The state that presents a specific action plan concerning very important topics for citizens, and at the same time, it shows that we want to adopt specific bills or specific programs in the first 100 days after the elections.
And now to the political scandal which has rocked the scene just a week prior to the parliamentary elections. TVP Info has published new recordings of Sławomir Neumann, the head of the Civic Platform Party's parliamentary club. In the tapes, Neumann uses vocabulary typical of a hardened criminal, as he explains the tactics and morally dubious principles of the Civic Platform Party. Today, the politician was backtracking on his statements on RMF Radio.
These are some hard decisions. They are not nice people. When Zbyszek hears that he is to support Biedroń, he gets so furious it makes his teeth ache. But this is the kind of elections we are going to have. We have 102 presidential cities, and the point is to show on that Sunday night that Law and Justice did not win in any of them, that they lost the election. We are not playing for local elections. They are bullshit. They are important, but they mean jack shit. It's a small step. However, if we lose the local elections, we are finished in the parliamentary elections. We are gone, and Law and Justice secures the second term. I have been a patriot of the Civic Platform from the beginning, and for sake, for me the platform is a value within itself. If someone does not want to be with us, or gets an offer and does not want to be with us, that's his problem. If he is useful to us, then he must be used. If he is not, he can off.
Nie ma tyle czasu, żeby tłumaczyć te wszystkie.
We don't have time to explain all of these things which were taken out of context and simply skew the intended meaning. These words that I said were spoken under a lot of emotions at a private meeting of the party's members, and they were meant to portray the situation.
Padały w emocjach i na prywatnym spotkaniu działaczy naszej partii.
During yesterday's Civic Coalition election convention, former President Lech Wałęsa talked about the founder of Fighting Solidarity, Kornel Morawiecki, who died last week. Wałęsa stated that the late Morawiecki betrayed Solidarity. When the Prime Minister, Mateusz Morawiecki, son of the late Speaker of the Sejm, was asked to comment on Wałęsa's words, he said that it's a pity that Wałęsa did not admit to being a paid secret collaborator of the Communist Secret Service.
I forgave the chairman of Fighting Solidarity, because it is what we Christians should do. What they have done with him, they are making him a hero. What did he do? In the midst of martial law, they attack us from all sides, and he, the smartass, is founding a new organization, Fighting Solidarity. What was it? Betrayal. Dear gentlemen, a traitor. This is the truth. We forgive him for that. Why did I not talk about it? Why should I? I knew that he was not going to succeed. He did not know what to do, how to do things, so we mugged him off. But today they regard themselves as heroes. I have had my own opinion about Mr. Lech Wałęsa for many years, and I regret greatly that in the early 90s he did not admit that he was a secret collaborator with the Communist Security Service. I think that the nation, myself for sure, would have forgotten him, and the history of Poland would have followed a much, much better road.
Dużo lepiej otoczyć.
Yesterday, tens of thousands of protesters took to the streets in Paris to defend traditional families against a new bioethics bill put forward by President Emmanuel Macron. According to the new law proposal, lesbians and single women will be given the right to so-called medically assisted procreation. The Conservative protesters oppose the plans as they diminish the role of fathers in society through expanding the rights to in vitro fertilization, also known as IVF.
The protest was organized by 20 conservative associations coalescing around the anti-gay marriage group Le Manif Poutou, which became a significant political force in France in 2013 when it gathered up to 250,000 people in Paris for a protest against same-sex marriages. A child needs a father to build himself up, to grow up. They're stealing that from them. Also, what says medically assisted procreation won't lead to surrogacy, and the commercialization of a child, that's unacceptable. Until now, lesbian couples and single women in France wishing to bear children have to seek procedures abroad, typically in Belgium and Spain, forcing them to spend thousands of euros to take a leave of absence and to see a new set of doctors. In a society that developed aid to orphans, especially to children orphaned in wars, it's quite strange today to do it intentionally. The problem is that we're making children orphans, with all the consequences of the child's human and psychological construct. Macron's decision to change the status quo opened a new field of conflict between the president and French conservatives. It remains to be seen whether the protests will grow to the size they took during the anti-gay marriage protests in 2013.
Thank you very much for joining me here this evening at Poland Daily. I'm John Carter. Stay tuned after the break for Poland Daily Weather. It's followed by the business, then it's the culture, history, and finally the travel.
Hello, and welcome to Poland Daily Weather. The forecast for tonight calls for a very cool evening. The temperature will fall to 0 in the south and on the eastern coast. The central regions of Poland and the north will see slightly higher temperatures of 1 to 4 degrees. Gdańsk can expect to see rain, while the rest of the country will see partly cloudy skies. Tomorrow, we can expect rain in the northern, central, and western regions of the country, and temperatures of 7 to 11 degrees. The eastern coast will see slightly better weather, with partly cloudy skies and temperatures of 8 to 12 degrees. In the next 3 days, the weather will bring showers on Wednesday to the south and central regions of Poland, and temperatures of 12 to 15 degrees. On Thursday, we can expect showers in the north and southeast, and by Friday, only the northwest can expect partly cloudy skies. The temperatures will be stable and vary from 11 to 14 degrees. That is all for now. I invite you to stay with us and to join us later on for Poland Daily Business.
You're watching Poland Daily Business Edition. We are here in Rzeszów 590. This is annual event gathering of Polish business and politicians and people who generally decide about the course that the Polish company, Polish business is taking. Tonight we will talk to Mr. Sebastian Bizoń of Olympic Labs, a very interesting company. Sir, welcome to the show, first of all.
Good evening.
Could you tell us a little bit more about the company?
Company, it's the family business, which actually will have this next year the 30th anniversary. So we existing in the market 30 years. We specialize in production of food supplements, and we have our major categories are divided on category that related to the supplements dedicated to sport active people, and the other category is for the customers that we call patients. and that's the mostly vitamins, minerals, herbs products.
So, and you started from the sport activities since Olympia Labs suggest.
Yeah, well, actually, our initial business was sports supplements. Then after a while, we discovered that actually there's a market need for food supplements in mass market sector. That's why we decided to create our second brand, which is called Olymp Labs. From that time, that two brands are coexisting and developed together.
From the point of view of organization, your organization started small and grew up. So how was what was the stages of your growth?
Actually, very first days when the company been started in 1990 were the old businesses and actually the freedom economy was started in Poland. So basically that time there was a need for everything, for every type and aspect of the businesses. So there was everyone who opened the business, it come up to been successful. So at the same time, the family that found the company was related to sport, and they was missing on the market the diet, the products that supply protein and carbs in their diet.
They say Poland is a medium-sized market. That means that you can have successful business and earn decent amount of money selling only on Polish market. When your company decided to go abroad?
Well, it was 15 years ago where actually was created the export department in our company, and we started from opening our branch office in Germany, where we employed people, and we started building our position on that market, which was quite difficult and challengeable at that time.
What was the challenges?
Most challenges was that Poland in that time was not like nowadays a trustworthy country, because everything what come up from our side of the border was treated like a little bit threat for all Western countries, and it took a little bit time and until
gain confidence from customers and
then to trust the Polish products. So in the beginning, we usually had a problem with that.
Right, the brand recognition. How did you build your brand recognition in Germany, for example?
Well, it was most of the time, and from the beginning, or the owners of the business was put the stress on the quality products, and that was main thing. So we invest a lot in laboratory equipment, and later we just build and improve our technology, production technology. Then invest also in the research development department, and well, to bring up the quality product on the market. What also mean the effective product for the customers, and that actually convinced most of the customers.
Let us fast forward to 2019 and tell our viewers where your products are available, in which countries.
Well, currently, after that 15 years, we built. We actually been able to create this distribution channel in over 100 countries. We are available in all continents. We started naturally from Europe, then through Middle East, Africa, Asia, and America.
So you're the example of the very local company that grew up to the global distributor and producer.
The dynamic of the development was increasing and accelerated with the time. When we enter one market, immediately we found another opportunity in another market, and actually it was kind of domino effect.
Fingers crossed. Then we wish you all the best. Sebastian Bizoń of Olympia Labs was our guest. I will repeat that. fingers crossed then. Sebastian Bizoń of Olympia Lamps was our guest tonight, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
And that was it for Poland Daily Business.
Good evening and welcome to Poland Daily Business Weather. The forecast for tomorrow will bring rain to the north, west, and central regions of the country. The temperatures will vary from 7 to 11 degrees. The eastern coast can expect partly cloudy skies and temperatures of 8 to 12 degrees. In Europe, we can expect rain in the south, where Rome, Athens, and Ankara can expect temperatures of 21 to 22 degrees. Rain will also greet the citizens of Prague, London, and Dublin. Vilnius can expect freezing rain and a high of 4 degrees. Most of the continent can expect partly cloudy skies or cloudy skies, and temperatures varying from 6 to 17 degrees. The only sunny spot on the map will be Zagreb, where we can expect clear skies and a temperature of 16 degrees. I thank you for joining us, and I wish you all a very pleasant evening.
Good day, everyone. My name is Maria Kądzielska, and this is Poland Daily Culture. There are many theaters in Warsaw, but only few of them perform in English. Have you ever heard about the Cheerful Hamlets? Two of them are with me in the studio, Paulina Piórkowska and Janek Ziętara. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having us.
But before we ask them a few questions, let's watch some of their work. Cheerful Hamlets. In your repertoire, you have a lot of comedies like Kill Me Deadly or Sweet Surrender, less of dramas. I think that the Richard III of Shakespeare was kind of beginning, maybe the element of new beginning or the start of new beginning or something completely new. Are you going to keep this trend or what stays in your plan?
We would hope to just strive to be better every time. We would really want to get accepted into the Gdańsk Shakespearean Festival this year and also many other academic contests. I think there is a University of Warsaw contest and also the one from the Polytechnica.
And what are you working right now?
We actually just started working on a new play for the upcoming semester. We will probably be staging in January. And the play is called Bard Fiction. And
Bad fiction.
Bard, like a bard, or maybe that's
okay,
how you say it. Like a bard fiction.
Bard fiction. What is going to be about?
It's basically is the answer to the question that no one asked. How would Pulp Fiction sound if Shakespeare wrote it?
Oh, I see. How it's Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
So it will be with Shakespearean language.
And with Shakespearean characters and dresses.
As well, yeah. So instead of guns, we have a lot of swords and knives. And the famous F word is changed into a very, very nice euphemism. So I think it's very interesting to see the characters relocated into the 17th century London. So we try to show a pretty different perspective of how things would have gone.
Sounds very interesting. And tell us more, how will you work on, how usually also look like working on a play? As I see, we have the end of September right now. You say you studied in January. So you give yourself half of a year for preparation. How do they look?
Well, first everyone needs to read the script and prepare for the auditions, because we also held auditions within our group, and everyone can apply for the role of his choosing. And then once that's settled, everyone has like 3 to 5 weeks to learn the part by heart. Then the real acting begins.
Yeah, because the first rehearsals focus on working with the text itself. So we try to catch the context and how are we supposed to say something. And after we learn the parts, we focus on the body movement and the stage movement.
Do you know any tricks of learning things by heart, which you can share with our audience?
A very simple one recommended by Sir Anthony Hopkins. Read the play 300 times and it's all gonna be easy.
Well, easy to say. The same with like losing weight, just stop eating.
It's simple. You could, you could try by singing it. I have tried that several times with girls actually, and we sing our parts until the rhythm is inside our heads and we can stop singing it.
In order to keep your movement and your theatre alive, you basically need to find new people and new freshies which will come and keep it all going. And also, how do you share the love to theatre with them, and how do you choose new people to maintain it going already for many years?
The qualification process is quite complex, because first we ask the newcomers to perform a short monologue, then we have 2 weeks of workshops, and then the final exam. I think that it should be a real incentive for the newcomers, especially this year, because we intend on having an open rehearsal, so everyone can come in, see for themselves if that's the thing they would like to engage in.
Why did you both become Truffle Hamlets? Paulina, share with us your secret.
How many years has it been? I'm not that long. It's actually, I think, 3 years. 3 or 4 years? 3, I think.
2.5 for me.
And why did you choose this? What makes you to put you there? That instead of, I don't know, working somewhere more, or just having fun, or starting, or looking for any other opportunities, you decided to put your time and energy to those plays?
Having fun is definitely a factor, but as it is in adult life, every time you need to prepare a presentation or a speech or participate in a debate, and I think theatre is a really good start for your public speaking career.
What were your favorite so far roles which you were able to undertake during your career in the Truffle Hamlet?
Athena Sinclair, I mean, she was just great. No, I must say that playing Queen Elizabeth was also, maybe fun is not the word for that, but it was challenging in a very interesting way. We had a very difficult scene at the very end of the play, and it was very, very inspiring to try to perform it the best we could.
Obviously, Richard, all the scenes with women in the play, with all the queens, were really tiresome and a huge emotional burden for me, so that even after the play has ended, it really stuck with me for 40 or 50 minutes.
And if any of our viewers would like to become the Truffle Hamlet, what are your words of encouragement?
Come with an open mind and a ready mind.
And be cheerful.
Be cheerful. So that's our punchline. Be cheerful and come with the open mind to the audition of the Truffle Hamlets, or just come to one of their plays to watch them. And thank you for being with us and watching Poland Daily Culture.
Behind me, the Pałac pod Blachem here in Warsaw. This is the home of Prince Józef Poniatowski. His home, the place where he had his famous parties, also the War Office. Who was Józef Poniatowski? He was in fact a major figure in Polish history. Patriot, general, Minister of War, sometime Marshal of France. Join me in this episode of Poland Daily History, where we learn more about this remarkable Polish figure. At what point did the Grand Army decide to start retreating from Moscow?
When it turned out that the Russians were unwilling to start peace talks, and the winter was coming. The Russian winter is nothing you want to live.
No, of course not.
And as a matter of fact, in that time, that winter was very severe, even in Russian conditions and Russian terms, and the winter attacked very, very quickly, already in September, October. So the main reasons, the upcoming winter, the supplies that were shrinking,
yes,
and lack of interest on the Russian side to talk.
The Russians relying, as they have done it several times in history, on General Winter to do their fighting for them.
I mean, I would say that as much as it is very simple, banal as reason, it is correct.
And it was on the retreat from Moscow that Poniatowski was injured.
He was injured by the end of October, and he had to cede the commandment to General Zajączek.
And travel back to Warsaw in a carriage. So
carriage.
So he couldn't sort of lead or inspire his men very easily from a carriage. And Napoleon had by that stage given up and had returned to Paris.
On hearing that there is a coup in Paris, a certain General Mallet was engaged in that coup. He returned to Paris to stop that.
And he was successful.
And he was successful.
Yeah, and what happened to Poniatowski when he got back in December of 1812, got back to Warsaw?
He got back here to the Copper Roof Palace, or if you want to be precise and translate literally from Polish into English, Palace under Tin. So he arrived here, and it was a very, very moving scene when he arrived here, and after a certain period of time, when he was sitting in front of the palace with all those furs on him, because it was very cold.
Of course, yes.
Last remnants of the Polish corps arrived in Warsaw, and he saw that Poles saved all the standards, unlike French, who lost them all. The Polish troops took all the standards and for the. I mean, it's something that only a soldier can truly understand.
Exactly, yes.
Because it's a matter of honor for a soldier. So that's and he was crying seeing these standards coming back to Poland.
And of the 100,000 or more Polish, the Polish contingent, do we have any knowledge of how many actually made it back?
Percentage-wise, much more than the French or the Italians, because they were they are unused to harsh winters and they didn't prepare well for the winter. Poles took furs.
Of course, yes.
And all this stuff, to make it comfortable. I mean, it depends on how we count, because some of them stayed, were left, and they were believed to get killed in Russia, but they came back from the Russian camps.
From the camps, right? Okay. So that gets us to the end of 1812. 1813.
1813 is crucial. I mean, that's the year when Prince Joseph is first about to has to decide whether to be faithful to the end.
Because it's interesting, because the Russian Tsar, the Russian troops are getting very close to Warsaw.
They
Tsar
capture Warsaw,
yes.
so Prince Joseph leaves the city and goes to Krakow.
But the Tsar was still quite keen to try and persuade Poniatowski to join the Russian side.
Yeah, he used his friend Prince Czartoryski to act as a mediator, and this guy was trying he would use and produce very rational and intelligent arguments that the war is over, Napoleon is over, that Poland will fall into Russian hands anyway. So there is no reason to fight against windmills.
Tilt against windmills, yes, like in Don Quixote fashion.
But that's what. Prince Joseph fought otherwise. I mean, he was a kind of medieval knight for whom such terms as honor, allegiance, loyalty were sacred.
Sacred. So swapping sides to join the Tsar and the Russians would have been, for him, a personal dishonor.
And the price he had to pay was the highest one. I mean, he died.
So there was a general. So as the Russians approached, then there was a general retreat to the south of Poniatowski. Whatever the Polish army was left, moving towards Krakow.
Remnants of the Polish army. 10,000 people, 12,000 people.
Something like that, yes. I think I'd read even maybe as high as 20,000, but who knows at this remove. But gradually this movement south to Krakow and then into Saxony, I think I'm right in saying, from this sort of southwards and then westwards.
And in Saxony he joined Napoleon.
Yes, that's right.
So he managed to take part in the Battle of Leipzig, so the Battle of Nations, a 4-day battle.
That's right. And it was during that battle as a reward for, I think it was on the 16th of October, 1813, as I recall, as a reward for his service to France, he was created a marshal of the French Empire.
The only foreigner in the Napoleonic army.
Because, of course, as we know, I think it was Napoleon said that every private has a marshal's baton in his rucksack, meaning that it was now France's meritocracy. Everybody who fought was.
I mean, for Poniatowski, it was. For Poniatowski,
but if you're born a prince, these things mean less.
Exactly. I mean, it may be even regarded as diminishment because when you are a prince, you don't accept any title of. But
well, no. But I mean, I think I forget the name of the one. But of course, there were a couple of French marshals who did come from very humble backgrounds.
Murat.
Yeah, I think
Ney.
I mean, Ney. I think of Ney actually.
Their fathers were nobody.
So there was of course the Duke of Wellington, of course, took a slightly different view of his army and said, "I don't know what they do to the enemy, but they certainly frighten me."
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Poland Daily Travel. The next series of episodes will take you around Warsaw, looking at what is perhaps the most captivating and surprising feature of Poland today. That is the Warsaw skyline. Warsaw has the 6th highest skyline in Europe. That's after Moscow, Paris, London, Istanbul, and Frankfurt. The Warsaw Center, under construction now, promises to be 310 meters, and at that height, the tallest skyscraper outside of Moscow in Europe. Tall buildings are nothing new for Warsaw, surprisingly enough. Not a lot of people know that the tallest skyscraper in Central Europe was in Warsaw in about 1910. That's the radio tower. And then there was the Prudential Insurance Building, now the Warsaw or the Warszawa Hotel. So Warsaw skyline has in recent years become one of the most impressive in Europe. And it's continuing to rise. The Warsaw Tower will be marginally higher at 310 meters than the Shard in London. So we are going to go from the old to the new over the next series of episodes. And we'll also take a trip around the Palace of Culture, that iconic landmark which was a present from the Soviet Union to the people of Warsaw. Actually more like an offer you couldn't refuse. So sit back and come along. We'll try to show you something constructive, entertaining, and informative. I suppose we can build on that. So it's Poland Daily, and we're looking at the Warsaw skyline. Come along.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Poland Daily. We are here in the center of Warsaw, and let me tell you, this is a place where you're going to see a great view, which is right behind me. And this is more of the skyline. Arthur, does this thrills you? I know what you're like.
You were talking about high skyline.
Well, no, yeah. Now we're seeing the
okay.
the big skyline, which is I mean, we started off with the oldest skyscrapers in town, which were prominent skyscrapers at that time in Europe. And then we've talked about the Palace of Culture. We've talked about the Marriott, and the Palace of Culture built by Stalin, the Marriott built by American or Western capitalism in combination with the Poles, the Polish government. And then we can see these other buildings behind us. I mean, the hotels, the apartment buildings. There are 2 apartment buildings. And the building over here from the shopping center, this lower one here, right?
Which
it's a pretty impressive skyline. It's all within the last 15 years.
Yes, this is how we reach step by step 200 meter. So according to official urban planning of Warsaw, no building can be higher than the top of the antenna of the Palace of Culture and Science. So
formally.
200, formally, 237 meters, but we already talked it over and we presented the Warsaw place that that is going to be higher than that. But the skyline of Warsaw in this very city center becomes really impressive. And those who were born and raised in Warsaw could see how this city has been changing throughout last 2 decades. And if you are new in Warsaw, if you just came in here, then you would never expect.
You would never expect. You would look at, I mean, say that you have never come to this city before. You would not think that they have this type of tall buildings, or this, because each of these buildings cost millions and millions and tens of millions of dollars, euros, to build. And there are quite a number of them. What does it show? What does it show you about this, about Poland? It shows you that the country is growing fast. It's growing rapidly.
They just sold Warsaw Spire, you know? There was a purchase done.
A building we're going to also see today.
1.6 billion of US dollars was spent to buy the building.
Do you know who acquired it?
Yes, I know.
You're not going to tell me?
Correct.
Okay, it's a secret.
Exactly.
Oh, right. Okay. It must be the Russians.
Big international company bought this building, and yes, they are going on over there. And yeah, that's what we know.
Okay, so a big international company's bought that. For the important thing at this point is the price, which was $1.5 billion.
Correct.
Wow, that's a lot of money. So even for President Trump, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, he would have to open his sack.
And because he likes buildings, he builds a lot of buildings.
I think that his building his hotel was awarded recently. as a best hotel on planet Earth.
Which one?
I think
One in
that
Washington?
the one, as
The
far
one
as
in
I was
Washington
told.
or the one in? No, he has one in New York. He has several hotels.
I think it's about the one in New York.
Oh yeah, the Trump
And
Plaza, isn't
and
it?
Yes, it has a Trump name in it.
Yeah.
So
okay.
probably this one. And we've also been given some awards recently. World's Best Building Award 2017, Warsaw Spire. So
We're
the
gonna
one,
see that later.
the one
Yeah.
with Samsung advertisement on the top.
Okay, so what do we got behind us? We've got the building from the shopping center.
Yes.
Złote Terrace.
Złote
Golden
Tarasy
Terrace.
Shopping Mall.
Yeah, Golden Terrace.
Mm-hmm.
We have next to it the Sale building.
Złota
We call it the Sale.
44.
What tell us about Złota 44? That's an apartment
Daniel
building.
Libeskind designed this building.
Yeah.
The guy who designed Freedom Tower and Ground Zero in New York or Holocaust.
He designed the Freedom Tower?
Correct.
And he also designed this in Warsaw?
Yes.
He's of Polish descent, I believe.
Yes, born
Yeah,
on 12th of May 1946 in Łódź in a family that survived Holocaust.
Actually, there are a lot of people of Polish descent that you wouldn't even realize, like Scarlett Johansson.
Oh, really?
Did you know that?
Okay, this
You knew
one
that.
I didn't know, but now I'm so glad.
You're very happy now,
Yes.
aren't you? Because she's a nice lady, nice looking lady, intelligent lady, good actress. Okay, and then we have the Intercontinental Hotel.
Yes. Which has the highest located swimming pool and sauna in Europe, remember?
To say that.
I love to say that,
said that
because
previously.
my grandpa does the sauna.
He goes to the sauna there?
No, he does the sauna.
He created it?
He was the first post-communist sauna producer in Poland.
What?
And
You never told me that before.
And now you know. I was waiting for it, so now you know. And he
Can I get a
exchanges.
small sauna that I can carry around?
How small you want to it
I
to
can
be?
maybe get my foot in it?
Okay, so no.
Yeah, 'cause my feet get
So,
cold in the winter.
The answer is no.
No, I
no.
can't get a foot-sized
But you can
sauna?
go over there in Intercontinental Hotel, and it's always fresh.
Oh, I'd have
it's
to
always
rob a
new.
bank to get in there.
Well,
It's expensive.
No, it's like if you just want to buy a ticket to go there, it's $60 US for one visit.
What?
Yes.
$60 for
But you
one
can
visit?
also visit a swimming pool. Don't cry.
Now I'm going to spend $60 to go to a sauna?
Yes.
When I can go to the... Maybe I will spend it, because the sauna near me is always very crowded. I don't even like saunas that much.
Oh, I like saunas.
See, I like steam baths.
And you can go there, you can have one.
But I could get a steam bath here as well, or in the Marriott.
all
they have
over
great
the place.
facilities.
They have
That's the
home
point
place.
they have great facilities in the Marriott
Mhm.
and in the Intercontinental. Probably the best facilities
And what's
in
there
town.
next? Then there's
Yeah.
Warsaw Financial Center.
Which is this more square building.
This is the
right
we
behind
can
it.
see its surface from
Yeah.
this very point. And
Right.
once again, Cosmopolitan, the very rectangular and narrow as far as we look
Very
from that
skinny
angle. Yes, so that all the inhabitants have windows, right? Because that's residential.
Right. Huh.
What a
Very
skyline.
interesting. Very, very interesting.
What a place.
This skyline of Warsaw is quite compelling, as we have seen. But there's one more thing to talk about. Stay with us. After the bumper, be right back. Show you the Warsaw Tower under construction. And boy, folks, it's something. It's going to be something. The tallest building. Whoa. It's going.
What bumper you were talking about?
What
After
was
the
I drink?
bumper,
What am
so
I
that
drinking?
was the bumper.
Yeah.
Now let's show
After
now
the
let's
bumper.
show
Okay,
Warsaw.
let's go. Hello, everybody, and welcome back. Arthur and I are now standing in front of the Warsaw Tower. You can get a good view of it from here. We couldn't even go inside of it if we wanted to, because as you can see, still under construction. Arthur, we've talked about it before. How tall is it going to be?
310 meters.
And not a penny more.
Not a penny less. That's
what
most
is-
important, because if it was 80 centimeters smaller, then the
Right.
Shard in London
The
would
Shard.
have exactly the same height.
The
So this is
Shard.
how, under construction,
Like
there
an
is
Irish accent.
European highest skyscraper behind us. You cannot enter at the moment unless you want to employ yourself over there.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that's another solution.
And you mean unless I want to help build it?
Yes.
Maybe we could go over and get some extra work. What do
We
you
will
think?
have some nice, fine yellow helmets.
We could moonlight.
Okay.
Do you know what moonlight means?
Like being in the limelight?
No. Moonlighting means working part-time on another job than your regular job. Your regular job is being a guide.
So this is exactly what I am doing at the moment.
Yeah, you're moonlighting now because your regular job is
Yes, of
guiding.
course. I am a tour guide. ArthurWarsawGuide.com.
What is it?
Crypto advertisement.
Now say it again. Arthur?
ArthurWarsawGuide.com.
We have to put that in the credits. That's a good idea. I forgot to do that. So if we can imagine how much taller, this building is going to be 5 times taller than it is right now, right?
Let me take a look with my professional eye. At the moment, it's about 70. I think it might slowly reach 80 meters. So it will be 4 times higher than at the moment.
About 4 times higher
Yes.
than it is right now. Yeah, which is going to be amazing. But yeah, it's going to dwarf. It'll be like twice the size of the Marriott.
It will be twice,
Not quite.
almost. It will be more than twice of the CH8, the building with key
That we were talking
advertisement
about
on the
before
top.
in just
so
previous segment.
twice as big as this one, plus
Yeah.
10 meters.
Yeah.
There you go.
Plus 10 meters, yeah? Wow. Okay, so that is pretty exciting stuff. Stay with us. For more of Poland Daily Travel, we are going now for the next episode to a different part of Warsaw that is entirely built of new skyscrapers, right?
Yeah.
And we're going to see the Warsaw Spire.
Oh, that is going to be very interesting.
You
place.
love this part of town.
I
know.
love
Yeah.
this place. There is a very special block arranged for the inhabitants.
Yeah.
There was a very special permission given by the mayor. Looking forward next episodes.
Okay, good. Sounds good. Stay with us for the next exciting episode from the Warsaw Spire and that different area of Warsaw just to the west of us. See you. It's Friday afternoon here, and maybe we get a nice cocktail over there.
Or maybe some coffee.
Or maybe a nice coffee over there.
Yes.
So because we're still working. that's
Just
what
don't
you're-
spill it.
That's what you're saying, and I shouldn't spill it because I'm famous for spilling my coffee all over myself.
Well, last time your jacket was fine.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Stay. Why do I do this? Stay with us.
You do this. That's what you do.
Watch the next exciting episode with me and Arthur from the
It's
Warsaw
coming.
Spire.
Very nice one.
Yeah. It's cast a long shadow.